Good evening, and thank you all once again for coming out tonight. I am Anthony Marchese. I'm the Director of Bands at the Ridgeview Schools in Colfax, and it's my pleasure tonight to introduce to you our guest conductor for the honor band this evening. He's a great teacher and also a wonderfully humble man because he asked me not to talk about him too much while introducing him. So if you'd like to know more about him, you'll have to check the back of your program for the bio. Please join me in welcoming a band director for 23 years from Washington Community High School, Mr. Jim Tallman.
Thank you. The order for tonight's program, we're going to do 5 of the 6 pieces listed. First one, What's Clouds That Sail in Heaven? It's by a local composer from Eureka High School, Todd Stalter. He's getting played all throughout the country. He's a great composer. And the next song we're going to do is also from a local composer, Robert Sheldon, lives here in Bloomington Normal. And again, a great composer, has been across the world with his, conducting his compositions. And this piece, The Final Voyage, talks about it basically depicts an event that happened in September 7th, 1860. The Lady Elgin was departing Chicago on Lake Michigan, and they had almost 400 passengers on board. They just finished, most of the passengers just finished listening to a presidential campaign speech by Stephen Douglas. And they got out, they were in a great mood, they got out into the Lake Michigan, and about 2:30 in the morning, the storms really came about across the lake, and one of the people up in the wheelhouse noticed an unlit schooner by the name of the Augusta. The people on the Augusta saw the ship, did not make any course corrections for another 20 minutes. And typically, the boats would pass on the port side. The Augusta made the choice late, tried to pass on the starboard side, ended up hitting the Lady Elgin. And Lady Elgin sank within 30 minutes. All that survived out of a group of almost 400 people were only 98 people. The captain himself died trying to save other people when they got people close to shore. They're about 9 miles outside of Winnetka, and so got drowned under undertows and such like that. So the first part of the piece, you'll hear kind of the excitement of getting back on the boat. You'll hear the tragedy, but then Robert Sheldon kind of, in the end, has this heroic music for those people that helped these 98 people survive, and those people that did their best to get this many to survive. But it is the worst on-water tragedy of any of the Great Lakes back in September 8th, 1860. Here's the final voyage. The next two that we'll be doing will be the theme from the movie The Avengers, and then America the Beautiful. one thing I did talk to the students about today was that they've now invested about 8 years by the time they get out of high school in this activity, that why not continue in college? I mean, there are so many studies that show correlation between doing better in classes, the social aspect of meeting so many great people, but I know one thing when it comes to colleges is the financial aspect. And I kind of mentioned a bunch of different schools that offer performance scholarships, especially sometimes some of the smaller ones. The big schools, they have some. It's not with the number of students in there, percentage is different, but there are scholarships out there just to play, just to sing. In this area, I know, like at the community college near Peoria, there is a full ride for being in the vocal jazz group. I mentioned another college that just to play in the marching band in the fall and concert band in the spring, students could get $5,000 towards their tuition. I know work studies that show that instead of working in the cafeteria or the library, they get paid $20 to $40 to play at a pep band game. So there's that incentive too, but the main thing is just to keep you invested this much time in the love of music there. I mean, this band was never happened until 9 o'clock this morning. And we basically had about 4 hours to put these 5 tunes together. That's a pretty amazing thing. So thank you, first of all, to the parents, because I know, having dealt with parents, they're so busy carting from our music events to sporting events to drama, speech, academic events. You plus, and at least in our aspect up here, you invested so much money in instruments, sometimes in lessons. Thank you so much. Thank you to these students. I told them this was a great day. If I could get out of school every day to work with these, some great students, I would do that. But also, I would love to recognize, you and you, there's a lot of greatness there to help get this tonight. But a big thanks really should go to the directors of HOI. Could I have all the directors please stand up? Let's recognize them, please. I understand, unless you've done the job, you really don't know how much time that these men and women put in and their passion of teaching your young men and women the art of music. So thank you to them. Thank you for having me this evening. The kids voted on having this last one. I think they wanted to go with a nice, quiet, slow piece to end this concert. So this depicts gently, I think, a tailspin that a plane would do. And we conclude our concert with Tailspin.